Alright boys, welcome back. We are of course ready to hop on into the second map of this consolidation final, or I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, consolidation final between FURIA and LAZARUS. And of course we did see map number 1, the map choice of FURIA going in their favor back on Nuke, 16-9 in the end if I recall correct. It was indeed. And now on Mirage, it's a good map for both of these sides. FURIA though of course get to start off on the CT side. That is an awkward fight for Sabrosa and Zelzes apparently, as they do both end up combining eventually to get the frag. But let's see, will they be able to get on towards the bomb site? A couple players on short to try and contend with. The P250 is Zelzes. He will be able to drop Art and also does tag down Caserato in the meantime. So with that, the B-bomb site actually being found for LAZARUS, the smoke's down, kind of keeping the CTs at bay, at least the majority of them. As it's only Yuri going forward, and he goes down alongside Abel in towards Kitchen. And then Caserato with 19 HP doesn't really have much of an opportunity in this clutch. He's already fallen back, may catch Sabrosa off guard. I don't think it's expected that he'll be in window, but he's unfortunately not able to connect the shot and ends up going down in the end. So LAZARUS, they come in and pick up the opening pistol here on Mirage. Can they keep it up though is the question. I believe we did actually see them going down 3-0 back on Nuke, so picking up the pistol round this time to actually start the map off certainly going to be good for them, because they did on the CT side of Nuke put up a pretty good performance. I mean, they ended up picking up 6 rounds in a row at the beginning, then they kind of got stomped out. But I mean, if they had a bit more room to work, or rather if they had have brought in a few more rounds on that CT side, then I think they may have had an opportunity. But I meant to say T side initially, that they got the 6 rounds on, apologies by the way. But yeah, eco coming through anyway from FURIA. This should be LAZARUS having an easy round, especially as they've already walked onto the A-bomb site. As I say that though, of course, Vinny does end up finding a quick headshot, traded back though, and with the weapons already, of course, heavily favouring the T side, they should have a relatively easy time now from this point forward. And continue to frag indeed. Art and Abel J, their hope right now just to try and see if they can catch a couple of exit frags. That's Zeus of Art. He'll be hoping to try and put that to use. They only had like 14 total maps though, so you've only probably casted close to half. Oh really? Okay. I know they're a pretty new team. I wasn't sure of how many maps they've actually played, but yeah, okay. Maybe I have casted quite a lot of their games so far, so I'm sure a lot of the LAZARUS fans are getting to know me at this point. But who knows, are we going to see more from them? That's the question. If they can bring it back on Mirage, manage to pick up map number 3 then as well, they would be able to take themselves on into the grand finals, but that's still a very, very long way from them at this point. I was struggling to get that sentence out. Didn't know what way to phrase it. There we go, the buy coming through from FURIA. They wanted to get that buyout as early as possible in round 3. Of course, didn't invest much in the previous at all. They do get the rifles, they get a decent amount of utility. Abel J down on the FAMAS, but they don't have any defuse kits in play, so if that bomb does end up getting planted for LAZARUS, it could be a difficult situation for FURIA trying to come in for a retake, especially if they don't have a lot of utility left at that point, if it's late on into the round. But let's see, LAZARUS right now all grouped up outside of A. We can see what their plan is, and it is clearly to make their way on towards this bomb site with an execute. Smoke's going over already. And Nade through towards ramp, probably not going to do too much. A couple of points of damage on towards Dapper, of course not very substantial. As LAZARUS now begin to move forward. They've used those Molotovs well, they've cleared out all of the positions that players can possibly be in. And of course also bench to stop the aggression from coming through that position. But let's see, this boost actually towards the CT spawn not currently being watched. I was gonna say, could even put a stop to the bomb plant. Of course, though, not being successful, and this is where the issues come through for FURIA. A retake without a defuse kit, but I mean, if Vinny can just keep fragging into the smoke, maybe it won't be an issue at all, because suddenly it's the 5 versus 3. A 2-man advantage for FURIA as they begin to move in for the retake. Zelzes on their Palace needs to try and get locked done, as does Dapper, as they're the last 2 men left standing. Dapper got a couple of frags, and Zelzes was able to take down Caserato. But of course, Art with a wild spam from above ends up getting the wall bang. That is FURIA coming through with the first gun round in their favor. Only doing so with a couple players though alive, of course, means that they do have to drop over a couple of weapons, so the reinvestment going to be heavy, leaving them with pretty much no money in the bank. Over on the other side though, LAZARUS, they have enough to buy onto the majority of their players if they do want to. And of course, knowing that the economy is low for FURIA, I would expect them to actually invest in. But it looks like they're not going for the full buy, which actually surprises me. I mean, it's definitely the safer approach, and I suppose it probably is the better idea, because it still gives them an AK and some pistols with Kevlar and utility, so they certainly can manage to drop quite a few of these weapons at the very least again on the FURIA side. Which of course will keep the economy very low for the CTs, but let's see. Art early on, he's actually been tagged down very heavily. Was trying to play aggressive on towards mid early on. Yuri, though, catches Sabrosa trying to creep out of underpass, and that will be the man advantage being pulled in their favor, but it didn't last very long at all. Unfortunately, they didn't expect the second player to be in that position, allowing for an easy return from Infinite. The bomb now actually probably going to go down on A. I was going to say maybe Yuri could put a stop to it. Unfortunately, he doesn't. If he had it combined with AbleJ for that spray, there certainly would have been an opportunity. But I mean, 4v4 for FURIA, they are still in a favored position to win the round. But it certainly could get dangerous. Caserato should drop Infinite and underpass. But they need to get a move on quite quickly at this point. And Dapper in mid with that AK, rather. I don't know if they're aware of this fact. He could certainly be in a position to actually cut off the rotation. Or maybe even get that backstab on towards them as they look to try and get the defuse in. But there we go. Smoke being dropped on the bomb. There is a couple of players with the fuse kits. One of them is going to be making his way over. Caserato, of course, not able to do much about it. He's an underpass, but he does deal with Dapper, of course, who was lurking. Zelzas goes down, and then after the bomb's defused, Swag will meet his demise. 2-2 for FURIA. Able to overcome that half buy right there from Lazarus, but I mean, again, relatively decent damage coming through. It means FURIA have to put some reinvestment in. They drop over a couple of weapons. It doesn't leave them with all that much money in the bank. So with Lazarus coming back onto the buy now, they can start trying to get a couple more rounds onto the board here on the T side. It's all about the grind. Can we get it through? There you go. I gave it to you. Oh, Sabrosa goes down early on, actually. We're able to trade again. Another very quick they execute actually coming through up against the buy. Lazarus seems to want to make this one work repeatedly, and so far it has actually been doing so. Let's see if the retake's going to be successful for FURIA. I mean, they've been successful in at least getting the bomb planted time and time again on the Lazarus side. They haven't had the greatest weaponry, though, for the after plants, so this is the best buy we've seen them with. Let's see if it's going to be successful. Oh, Zelzas actually catches that frag from behind. I thought it was almost a confirmed kill right there, in all honesty, but apparently not. Aren't going to be able to shut down that connector push, though. Will leave it all on Infinite and Palace. He's low HP, so the bomb just going to be stuck. A single bullet for Arthur's all that needs to be connected, but he's on 5 HP himself. But it doesn't matter because, of course, Infinite had to go ahead and shift his attention to that bomb diffuser. Oh, damn. I seen in the chat there someone was saying that Ents were looking like they were going to 2-0 Astralis, and yeah, up 15-12 right now after taking the first map already. Astralis, I don't know what's going on. Someone asked me a while ago who was going to dethrone them. I mean, it seems like Ents are the only team that are beating them, so maybe. But here we go. Back into the action, of course, it is again an eco, or rather a half buy coming through from Lazarus. They did fully invest on Zelzas to get the AK out, which is interesting for the Opera to do so. But maybe this round can actually work in their favor. It was looking to be a round that was certainly possible. But we do see FURIA beginning to claw back into it. They managed to pull it into the 3 versus 2. Low HP onto a few players currently out of the 5 that remain combined. So it's a round that still, I would say, really could go either way, rather. But that flank from Art, I feel like, may have just put a stop to it now. So Sabrosa left alone in the 1v3. I mean, he does have an AUG and Kevlar to work with, and also a nade. So could even potentially use that grenade to actually find a quick kill if he was to finish off one of those tagged up players. So let's see, creeping forward, the bomb, of course, needing to be retrieved on the opposite side of default, just out in the open towards A. Will actually be picked up indeed. AbleJ towards the spawn, I was going to say, about to peek in, may have spotted him. Sabrosa with 35 seconds remaining is actually looking to try and bring this one back over towards B. He, of course, doesn't know the position of all these CT players. He knows there's one on ramp. He knows there's one towards CT, or at least there was. He's going to try and run it up short now towards B, where he will likely at least get that bomb planted. It's going to be a pretty much open bomb site. Issue is, as I say that, Caserato actually rotating in. He may be able to put a stop to it. He's making a lot of noise, so I feel like Sabrosa is going to be aware of this, but apparently not. He gets the first frag and goes immediately for the bomb plant, of course, with the time going low. It was a necessity that he got that down pretty soon. Unfortunately, not expecting the second player. And with Caserato actually being low on HP as well, that was certainly a frag that he could have found. Dean is Bay. Thank you. I am. Jay Mandias is watching both streams. That is what a real CS fan does. I'd be watching it if I could while casting, but obviously that is not really viable. Zelzas though, CZ apparently viable in his hands. Dapper with the AK able to go ahead and drop Yuri quickly. What is happening right now? I mean, okay, Lazarus take a quick 2 versus 5 advantage. 1 being pulled back from AbleJ, but he's also tagged down low in the process of finding that frag. So I mean, 4 versus 2 still heavily in favor of Lazarus. It looks like they're just going to take it on towards A quickly. AbleJ in the spawn, of course, already being tagged up. He tries to take the fight and just quickly gets stopped from being able to do anything at all. Leaves Caserato as the last man now standing. I mean, I feel like a save is really all that he can do at this point. Lazarus certainly starting it off a lot better here on Mirage than they did back on Nuke. And as you can see, of course, Lazarus not having too much money in the bank, or, well, pretty much none at all. They don't want to hunt down too aggressively. Zelzas does end up going for it. Interesting choice. He ends up getting dropped. I mean, it's not too bad. They got the bomb planted alongside the round win money, so they will be able to pull out the buy pretty easily. Infinite can buy for himself if he wants. I'd hope that they'll drop Zelzas. I mean, if they wanted, they could actually drop an op over. Swag could, but that'd mean, of course, that he wouldn't get utility. So the sides against it, they will stick to the full rifle buy. Zelzas actually going to buy up that AK himself, so it leaves him with 0 in the bank. So it is still a position here where Furia can certainly go ahead and just take the 1 round again to put Lazarus back down onto a relatively weak buy. A little bit of a mix, a little bit of mismatch, rather. There would be some rifles, some pistols maybe in play. But here we go. Of course, Furia not having the greatest of investments themselves in this round. Very little utility already in play as the round has barely begun. But Yuri, he's going to be making up for that with the fact, of course, that he does find a quick opening frag towards Sabrosa, who is trying to creep up short. But look at this, Vinny getting aggressive. That is dangerous. He ends up giving over the frag to Zelzas. He was actually looking to be Swag, of course, but he was assisted instead. Another one coming through from Dapper then as well, with Art going down. Suddenly it is Lazarus actually taking the man advantage, and if they find this round, that will be Furia looking at an eco, so we would then see Lazarus actually claiming the lead with a 5-4 scoreline. Oh, 2 players down in position towards B to try and actually hold this down. Unfortunately, Caserato not able to find anything. Yuri, on the other hand, continues to frag with the FAMAS, but he's the only one to find anything for Furia so far, so AbleJ then left in the 1v2. Dapper puts that bomb down, does go for the peek, but he's going to find the headshot anyway. AbleJ gets taken down. And with that, it's, as I said, likely that Lazarus will go ahead and get themselves into the lead on this T side right now. And it's good to see Dapper starting off strong, 10-4. He was, of course, one of the stronger performers yesterday for Lazarus, so I would say it needs for him, he needs to step up again. And, of course, Zelzas not starting off 0-14 is a big positive. Looks like Lazarus is going to go quick towards B. Not up against the eco, of course. They just want to go ahead and use those rifles to their advantage. As long as they stick together and trade out, they should have an easy time as they are so far. 5-on-2. Furia do. We're trying to make everything rhyme right now. Just makes it a little bit more fun, you know, against these ecos. Not much expected for Furia. Pretty much what's happening right now. 1 frag for AbleJ actually being found in the end. If he made that short jump, he could have got himself a rifle. Not going to do so, though. BR movement. He is under the window right now. I mean, someone may actually jump out window. Problem is, it's infinite. He has the Mach 10, so even if he gets that frag, which he should, it's a bit extra damage, but it's only a Mach 10. But now he has an opportunity. Sabrosa on 16 HP, rather. Certainly could have been taken down by the Mach 10, but it doesn't happen. Pinned in the corner, ends up getting sprayed down. And with that now, Lazarus 5-4. Furia, they can buy up in this round as they are looking to do so. They've already bought Kevlar. But I mean, it's not going to be amazing. They're going to have a limited amount of utility. They might not have a defuse kit again if they don't actually sacrifice down a bit on a player. And no op, of course, going to be available either unless AbleJ wants to bring one out glass cannon, which I don't expect to happen. Is this a CT-sided map? No, not normally. It's normally a CT-sided map, maybe like 9-6. It's not like a super biased map, but it is definitely somewhat CT-sided. I mean, in general, the maps have become less CT-sided, just as the meta has adjusted over the past few years. Juggernaut 69. What a name, man. Thank you, Irga. They call me Rap God. Oh, again, look at this from Lazarus. This is a stark contrast to what we've seen back on that previous map of Nuke. But with the pace being kept up for them, it does eventually get shut down by FURIA. I mean, it was inevitable that they would eventually be able to just lock one of these down. I mean, Lazarus not even using utility on the push. But with this still being a 2-on-4, I mean, it is winnable for Lazarus, considering Yuri and AbleJ are so low on health right now that they could get dropped by a single bullet each. Caserato and Vinny, the ones that are looking healthy, though. So, I mean, as long as they work together and ensure that they can at least pick up the trades, they should be okay. But let's see, Infinite and Swag are going to do their best, rather, to fight back into this one. Caserato looking tempted to peek. AbleJ in jungle gets dropped by the Krieg. I wanted to say AUG, but of course it's not. Oh, and look at the angle being created by Infinite right now as he tries to peek from Palace. Doesn't actually expect the player to be holding back, watching that angle. Ends up, of course, getting dropped. That is by Vinny. Caserato is allowed to eventually get a frag of his own, though, from that spawn, rather. As it's 5-5, FURIA able to return around, but of course, over the past few, Lazarus beginning to pick up some pace. They did also pick up a little bit of extra money in the reserve. They bolstered up the economy. Some loans, etc. probably came true as they were flourishing, but that's no longer the case. A recession could be coming true from Lazarus, and as an Irishman, I know what that is. I mean, I was pretty young when the recession happened here, so more of a joke. But here we go. Look at it again. The pace is just so quick. They don't even really do too much. A flash did actually go over to blind up Art, which allowed for that opening frag to be found, but it does get traded back quickly. A 1-for-1, though, does tend to favour the D side, of course, and Sabrosa doesn't want to let up on the gas anytime soon. Instead, he's going to be going ahead and just pushing the spawn. Gets one and ends up tagging AbleJ up heavily. I mean, again, that's probably still worthwhile, even if he could have gone about it a better way. Let's see. There is a couple of defuse kits for the CTs, as well as a bit of utility left over. Swag waiting for that smoke to fade away. Has to get the reload in, which could have been dangerous, but Able eventually finds the frag. I mean, he wasn't able to capitalize on the fact that there was no bullets in the gun, but it's all on Zelzis now. A 1v2, low HP on the remaining players for both sides, but it's Zelzis who ends up winning it out. The first headshot towards jungle, plays around the box then to drop AbleJ, and goes ahead and reclaims the lead again for Lazarus. See someone putting in score. This is the second map of the series. FURIA were able to pick up the first one 16-9 back on Nuke. This is the map choice of Lazarus, and they're looking good so far. They should be taking a 7-5 lead as we see just a shotgun and some pistols being brought into play for FURIA. And you can see they've gone for at this point a little bit of a stack. It was towards B early on. They're shifting it around now towards A, which is probably the best decision considering this is the site that Lazarus have really been having fun with. They've been exploiting the defense so far, just time and time again coming out towards this bomb site, and whether it's been a round win or not, they've always been successful at least trading out the frags. Rosa spots out the head of the player hiding in towards Ninja. Wasn't aware there was a second, but he is now. Yuri brought down low and finished off pretty quickly by Zelzis. Leaves only Vinny and Caserato now, unfortunately, and they're both tagged up heavily already. The one headshot being found. It is a rifle being dropped at the very least, and I mean, since the economy of Lazarus isn't in a good position, that could be impactful in the long run. But it's not going to allow for much more in the round to actually be brought through. As it is 7-5, as I said, we would be expecting the buy again for FURIA, but no up available. I mean, that's something that I really do want to see being pulled out, especially on Mirage. It can be very impactful, and considering they've been putting investments even into these rounds where they could be taking the harder ecos. I mean, they don't even have to take the eco on everyone if they want to go for those force buys, but just try and keep enough on your op player so that Art can actually pull that out. Oh, and look at this aggression. Speaking of Art, he tries to get aggressive up mid with the M4. He was all alone. His teammates smoked off in window, not able to help. And very, very quickly, his head is torn from his body. 5-on-4, his boosted position from Swag could also be dangerous. Yuri trying to play around the smoke may get an opportunity to actually destroy, as he does drop Dapper low, rather. Takes a bit in return, though, and it is, of course, still that man advantage in play for Lazarus at the moment. AbleJ able to drop Sabrosa. Back into the 4-on-4 now. I mean, there's still a minute remaining, so Lazarus, I feel like they don't really need to be forcing the issue that much as they were in towards connector. A little bit of an awkward smoke, really giving away that frag. Let's see, can they still manage to convert this into a round win? The issue is they have a couple of players who've been tagged up heavily. Swag and Dapper both barely clutching onto life right now. Oh, Zelz's, he's been really stepping it up on Mirage, and of course after that performance on Nuke being pretty poor, especially in the first half, that is a great thing to see if you're a Lazarus fan, or if you do just want to see some great CS in general. But Dapper goes down, that's the bomb being dropped. Vinny gonna go up the ladder, of course making that known as the knives came through, but still manages a second, which was really crucial, because that leaves it in the 2-on-2 now. Caserato and Yuri from CT spawn. The bomb going to have to be retrieved. It will indeed be by Zelzis, and with that now, he should be able to actually get that down, takes the peek, and gets the 1-for-1, but he leaves Swag all alone on low HP, and he's going to struggle to try and get back in. I mean, time is low, he should be able to pick up the bomb, but the issue then is he just going to stick, or is he going to try and go for the fake? Trying to get it down will be successful. Caserato expecting it perhaps to have been the fake, but he knows, of course, Swag already tagged up. He's pushing in now, has the crosshair trained on the correct position as he was flicking from side to side. And a little bit of a BM spam to end it off. A 6th round for FURIA just about being brought in their favor, but of course we're going to see the buy again from Lazarus. They've built up some pretty solid money across the majority of their players. Infinite and Sabrosa are a little bit low. Zelz is probably just going to get the op, so we don't expect him to drop an AK over. So, I mean, actually, the money isn't great for Lazarus. They could consider taking this round as an eco. I wouldn't mind if they done so and they just tried to take the 8-7 lead at halftime, but as you can see, going to buy up. Zelz actually does drop an AK, and I didn't think that was going to happen, so good to see that they do so. I feel like the buy with 5 rifles across the board, even if one's a Galil, is probably better than the op with 2 AKs and then probably pistols on 2 players, so let's see. This is Furia's attempt at trying to stop that A-ramp from being in a position, as I said, that was being exploited by Lazarus. Able to get a quick 2-for-1 trade. AbleJ is the one that goes down. Yuri falls back into Under Palace and calls in for a bit of assistance. It's Vinny, but he's making a lot of noise. With that, Zelz is going to spam through. Connects 1 bullet only. Infinite, though, coming through the smoke as well. Yuri has no idea. Actually able to make his way down to Under Palace. Gets a quick double kill, but it's the flank from Ark to go ahead and put a shut to the bomb in the hands of Zelz's. Dropped on ramp, leaving it all on Infinite. He needs the quad kill. He needs the 1-on-2. Oh, and this nade could do some pretty solid damage already. Indeed it does. Dropped to 74 with a spam as well. Spam doesn't actually connect. I thought it was going to. But I mean, Infinite on 61 HP against 2. He's actually managing to get some good damage in, but he's being spammed, of course. That box is malleable, which means he couldn't really take cover efficiently. Will end up eventually getting dropped. 7-7. As Lazarus not being able to make that force buy work actually puts FURIA in a good position to try and take the lead at half-time. Which, I mean, as I said, I didn't really like that force buy in the previous round from Lazarus, but I mean, if it worked out then, they were looking at a 9-6 lead probably, so you can understand where they were coming from. It's high risk, high reward. Sometimes you need to take those risks if you do actually want to get the win. Caster, do you sleep? You were a maniac. I do sleep, but I only got like 3 hours sleep last night. I've been doing these NA games for the past 3 days, but I've also been spending the early day with my girlfriend. So I got up at like 9 this morning, and we went to see a show in the theater. Just because she works there, so she gets free tickets. I'm not like some mad musical nerd, but it was actually pretty good. It was just some like improv. It was called Showstoppers. Basically, they asked us for ideas. We gave like the setting and everything, and kind of what sort of music and stuff. Like we gave them like Guns N' Roses, so there was like Guns N' Roses inspired songs in it that they made up on the spot and stuff, and it was just funny moments in general. But yeah, we're getting back into the game again. I'm sorry, I do rant every now and again. I'm an Irish person, we all do it. But look at this from Lazarus, trying to go quickly towards B. That smoke a little bit too late for Infinite. Unfortunately, he's down on 6 health and picked off quickly by the MP9, as is Sabrosa and Dapper. Caserato, even on low HP, is able to continue fragging. And that's 8-7 very quickly in favor of FURIA. They lead by 1 at the halftime. I mean, Lazarus certainly still going to be very happy with 7 on the T side, but a decent recovery from FURIA, rather. Struggling with those Fs right now. This is, of course, my last night of these NA games, though, so I will have my sleeping schedule hopefully back to normal afterwards. But yeah, for now, we've been enjoying some great CS these last few nights. Coming into this pistol now, it's pretty important, I would say, for both sides. I mean, FURIA only having 8, though, rather, as they head onto the T side isn't really ideal. But it's certainly doable even without the pistol. They'd rather pick it up, though, and Lazarus would so, too. We see Dapper getting aggressive up mid with a 1-for-1 trade. Surprisingly, he doesn't have any help, though. There is a couple players, actually, I believe, on short, and then, well, rather one on short and then one on underpass. So this could catch FURIA off guard. But look at this, being able to actually smoke in and get control in jungle. We see Swag taking a dink as he's trying to take a little bit of a peer through that murder hole, and I mean, it certainly lives up to its name quite often. Yuri with a quick headshot onto Infinite, rather. Again, stumbling on my words slightly, but let's see. RDT is going to stumble. They do end up losing one player. Zelzis drops Caserato, but Vinny with a quick trade puts the advantage back in their favor. And now it's all onto Swag, already tagged up, of course. Finds a quick headshot, but he's just as quickly returned on by Yuri from CT. 9-7 as FURIA pick up that second pistol and extend their lead. They should be able to do so a little bit more, although we do see Lazarus forcing into this one, which is not something they've gone for in the series so far. I think we've seen them mostly just go straight into the ecos. Although maybe not on the CT sides. At least on the T side they have been, because you can get the AKs out with some utility, which is a good buy. On the CT side, if you go for that eco in the second and buy in round 3, you're probably not going to be on a bit of a limited buy. Sure, you'll get the rifles, you won't have an opto, you won't have all that much utility. So, I mean, the force buy coming through from Lazarus, let's see if they can make it work. Unfortunately, even though damage goes in towards Art with the scout tagging him down early on, he does still find that kill on towards Swag, so it is opened up in favor of FURIA. And they do have a very heavy SMG buy-in. So, I mean, once it gets up close and personal against those pistols, it's not like FURIA are going to have the most advantageous fights. So, this could be pulled back. Let's see if it's going to be the case for Lazarus. A nice double peek towards the ramp. Only going to allow for one to come through for Zelzis, unfortunately. AbleJ traded it back with his Mac 10. Yuri still chilling at top mid. I was going to say should cut off the rotation, but apparently not. Infinite is going to come back now as they try and steal away this AK at top middle. Will they be successful? I mean, maybe. Infinite, what is that second shot? Art up close now on Connector. He can't peek with the low HP that he has. Here's, of course, the footsteps going backwards, but right now, Infinite, his goal just to save that AK. I don't know if it's going to be allowed, though. Pinned in on short. He can't peek either side without a weapon being trained on his position. And it's the AK that he chooses to go against. I mean, that was the lower HP player, but still not going to be successful. 10-7, double digits for FURIA, and they should be bringing it up 11-7 before we actually see a buy from Lazarus. Caster is from Hungary. Do I sound Hungarian? I mean, I'm a little bit hungry, man, but I'm Irish. I am, as the Americans like to say, a leprechaun. A 6'4" leprechaun. A potato eater. A beer drinker. A Guinness lover. I actually hate Guinness. I'm just trying to be very stereotypical right now to Irish people. But yeah, this is an easy round coming through, as you can see, from FURIA. Yuri gets 4 on the Mac 10. He could find the ace potentially. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not like it's a massively skilled round from him, but it's always nice to build up that bit of extra confidence in yourself. And also, of course, when it's with the Mac 10, to build up all of that money. He does end up trading the Mac 10 away and taking the rifle so that he can play a little bit safer. Doesn't want to hunt down the ace, at least not too aggressively. He is kind of just chilling for the moment, making sure the rifle can be carried over. He's actually making his way all the way around towards the apartments, but not going to be finding his way towards CT in time. It is finished off by Caserato. 11-7 now. This is a buy coming through from Lazarus. They need to make this one work, otherwise FURIA are probably going to be taking a 13-7 lead. And at that point, Lazarus on the back foot massively. They'll need to make a comeback happen on Mirage, and then they'll need to take it onto map 3 to get the victory as well. FURIA just go straight in towards quick mid control, and they have no idea. Lazarus have absolutely zero clue about what's going on in this round, at least to start it off. I mean, Swag should probably be being somewhat cautious of that in the very least. I mean, there's not much that the window player could do since he was smoked off, but yeah, Swag unfortunately gets shot in the back and taken down. Was trying for that underpass aggression to try and open it up. Instead, it's opened up in favor of FURIA, and Sabrosa's been spotted as well. He inevitably goes down as he's also not facing Yuri. Yuri right now, alongside AbleJ, they've got 2 frags between them without even being spotted. But eventually, Vinny gets spotted. Unfortunately, though, for the Lazarus side, they're not much more successful as they still haven't got any damage in the round even. It's Zelzas and Infinite left on B trying to save most likely as the bomb is taken onto A. As we hear the pitter-patter of footsteps over towards A. Bomb still not planted as of yet, and Celsius does end up getting 1 kill. AbleJ goes down, and I mean, there is a bit of money in the reserve for FURIA, but I don't think they want to be throwing away too many weapons in the hunt for these rifles. I suppose, though, it could be worthwhile, because if Celsius and Infinite survive over in this one, then we will actually see them being able to drop over 2 rifles, so it probably would be a buy from Lazarus. If FURIA managed to drop even just one of these weapons, then we'd probably have to see Lazarus taking the eco. So, I mean, I can see why it's worthwhile, and it's working out. Art going to come through with a headshot onto Zelzas. The op will be retrieved by Infinite, but it's still going to be tough. If he gets this first one, though, I think he will be okay. It's only really now Casarato, coming in from behind. I was going to say that could be a threat, but we also see Yuri actually being able to be a bit of a distraction, jumping up onto the balcony as the flank comes through. And it's 12-7, 5 in the difference. Lazarus now, as I said, without saving over the weapons, they're looking at an eco. Full loss bonus at least gives them Kevlar alongside some pistols, so it's not a full eco. It's a little bit of a, as it used to be referred to a long time ago, I can't remember who started it, but a quasi-buy. After watching Ancestralis, your eyes are bleeding. Oh, Jesus, that's not good, man. I'm not a doctor, but you might want to get that checked out. Welcome, though. I presume we're going to get a lot of new people in here as that match has ended. So, of course, welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream, and welcome to what seems to be on this second half. Once again, decimation for FURIA. Their T-sides have been extremely strong. And it's Casarato to go ahead and trade successfully there, as it could have got a bit dangerous. Dapper had a potential flank. Sadly, only 1 frag coming from it. Not going to be enough, or at least might not be enough in this situation. We see FURIA taking it towards A, but as we see, Zelzas is set up. Sabrosa also coming around. The Deagles potentially could get a couple of frags to try and hold it, but it's not looking likely. Sabrosa on low HP is actually the last man left standing. Does find one on Vinny, but as long as they peek it together and ensure at the very least the trade, it shouldn't be too big of an issue, and there you have it. Finished off by Yuri as he elevates himself above the triple box. And now there's 6 in the difference. Lazarus with a 6-round deficit now to actually try and overcome. They need to make this gun round work, otherwise it's probably going to be 15-7. At that point, FURIA on map and series point, and Lazarus on the brink of elimination. As FURIA at that point would then be heading on into the grand finals to, of course, play out a best-of-5 against Ghost, who, of course, coming through the upper bracket, do actually get a map advantage. So either way, the winner of this best-of-3 is going to have another long matchup ahead of them. And a tough one for sure, but there's some decent damage. That nade coming through takes down Art to 49. Certainly could be impactful in the long run. I mean, Art also remaining very aggressive, trying to force someone out into the open. It's actually a bit of a B-stack, I believe, coming through. There is 3 players already in position. The rotation having come into kitchen as well. But Sabrosa eventually deals with that threat. I mean, that's a big play from Art, though, just being able to pull 3 players over to that side of the map. It allows for his teammates to pile out of Palace, but they take quite a lot of damage in the meantime. And Swag is stepping it up. Gets a quick double kill. The nade going through. It creates a wall of smoke, but it's not really going to be too effective as he still finds the headshot. By that I mean AbleJ is able to get it. No pun intended, but here we go. 2v3, the aggression from the upper Zelzas is extremely dangerous, and he actually has no help from the player in spawn. Infinite didn't want to go forward. Sabrosa going to get dropped in towards jungle. Oh no, Lazarus, they've let this round fall apart rather, and get away from them, as it is going to be AbleJ with the final headshot. That makes it a hat-trick in the round for him. And with that, FURIA now lead with double the scoreline of their opposition, and Lazarus, they don't want to eco. They don't want to try and play for overtime. They're going to buy right into this. And if that's not successful, they're going to be on a similar investment in what could be the final round of the series. Winner of this qualifies for Cologne. Not the winner of this match, but the winner of the next one between Ghost and, well, likely FURIA. But I mean, Lazarus aren't down and out as of yet, but it's, as I said, a long road ahead. They need to pull it back on Mirage, and then they need to take map 3 as well. So Zelzas, he finds an opening at the very least. Ends up hitting Swag a little bit, dropping him to 88 HP. Sabrosa finds a kill on B, though. A trade from Yuri. Let's see if they can take down Sabrosa on short. They probably will at least get the bomb planted. AbleJ finds one elsewhere. Sabrosa goes down again. With the advantage early on in favor of Lazarus, it still isn't enough for them. They just crumble as the frags come back from Furia very successfully. Yuri gets another. Casarato finishes it off. It's 15-7. Map and series point right now as Furia are a single round away from heading on into the grand finals to take on Ghost. And as I said, it would be probably an even weaker investment for Lazarus coming into what could be the final round, and that is the case. An MP9, one M4, a couple of FAMASs, and a Deagle. A nice find though from Dapper, actually gets a second on ramp. That's a really nice find. Not only does he manage to find 2 kills without even taking any damage, but he also gets an op upgrade. So that is a nice find for sure. There's another weapon over towards ramp as well that potentially could be upgraded, but it doesn't look like they're going to be getting too aggressive. They don't want to risk any more players who are holding their being gifted frags, as a Deagle shot from Infinite extends that advantage even further. So Lazarus looking to find a lifeline indeed. Yuri gets one back eventually, but he's the last man standing on 20 HP. I mean, I don't expect much else to be found. I mean, I say that, but when I said that yesterday while Dapper was in a 1-on-5, he ended up winning it. Let me see the scoreboard, please. Of course you can. Apologies, I always forget to bring that up. You can see Yuri currently actually leading the way for Furia, closely followed by Casarato. But Yuri ends up getting dropped and not being allowed to save over any weapons. But as we can see, not a big issue. Look at that. The numbers highlighting that is, of course, the economy that's available right now for Furia. They rebuy in very easily. They still have enough money in the reserve to get another buyout in the next round if it's needed. And they still have 7 opportunities to close this one out. Oh, the aggression coming through from Lazarus. This is risky, especially since that Molotov goes down. It does manage to isolate Dapper as the sole player left aggressive on mid, but he found that opening frag, was able to fall back off, drops the smoke to manage to actually get back up through connector. So a man advantage does actually go in favor of Lazarus early on again, but Vinny manages the trade. There was a couple of players who had been tagged up, as I was going to point out before. Of course, one of them got dropped. So a 4-on-4. Swag, though, getting aggressive. I don't think Casarato's going to be expecting this. That's actually the bomb that he ends up dropping. Here's the footsteps coming back from Palace as well. Nade goes through onto Vinny to connect some decent damage, but he still gets dropped as he goes forward. So back and forth continuously, eventually going in favor of Lazarus once again, though, as Sabrosa finds a quick kill on Able J. All on Yuri and Vinny, but I don't think they realize that Yuri has actually been able to creep into this position. Sabrosa, though, he has been careful. Going to come in with his angle perfectly lined up by the crosshair. Quickly drops Yuri, and now it's all on Vinny as he's not going to be able to find anything at all. Doesn't expect Infinite to be pushed up in the apartments. 6 rounds now between the two. 6 more in a row for Lazarus to take it to overtime. As I said, we will see another buy from Furia. Are they going to have a perfect investment? They should do. There's plenty of money left over for Casarato and Yuri to be able to actually drop weapons. And Art actually finds the opening frag in this round very quickly. Yuri as well. Okay, apparently I'm going to have to go ahead and do the observing now as I do cast as well, because we do see Furia finding 2 opening frags. The auto-director with that begins to stop working. And as the aggression from Dapper is shut down on ramp this time around, it's left all onto Infinite and Sabrosa to try and keep Lazarus alive right now. Furia, it looks like they will indeed be heading on into that grand final. A potential 16-9 here on Mirage. They had a 16-9 back on Nuke as well. I would call that a pretty convincing series indeed. Sabrosa finds 2 quick frags though, and of course the bomb is actually still yet to be planted, as it was in the middle of a pretty long rotation around towards that ramp, but still the man advantage no longer. Okay, shut me up very quickly. Vinny pulls it back. My observing clearly not great, as Infinite for some reason turned around and tried to fall back off into jungle. Of course, Vinny with a peek in the meantime ended up dropping him, leaving it all on Sabrosa. 1-on-2. Vinny on the bomb site, Able J in the spawn. Decent setup as they look to just try and run down the time on that bomb. Of course, Sabrosa does have a defuse kit alongside a lot of utility. Uses the Molotov and nade to try and flush Vinny out of the corner, which will be successful, but he takes some damage, and Able J just needs to connect a couple of bullets to finish it off. The Molotov at least not going to be successful on the bomb as the smoke goes down, but he just holds the angle, waits for the peak to come true, and that will indeed be the 16-9 coming through from